whole mask craze issue comes down to one issue: what is feasible and what is reasonable. It is reasonable to ensure our immune systems are healthy in the midst of a nationwide pandemic. It is feasible to tell everyone to wear masks and ensure that everyone is protected and everyone around yourself is protected. But have we lost sight of what is reasonable? Are masks really effective? Are they necessary? Do they work? Today, I'm going to seek to shed some light on some of these questions and give you a look at the other side, that masks might not be effective as we are told. There are two sides to every issue, and we always need to understand both sides before making an informed decision. First, I'd like to give you a look at 3 common beliefs about masks and show you why they're untrue. The first one is double masking. I'm sure you have all heard that the CDC has recommended to put a cloth mask over a medical mask, and also to knot and tuck your mask behind your ears. Well, this is an unfounded claim for a few reasons. They've only done one study on the subject, and they basically ejected particles roughly the size of COVID-19 through the mask dominations to see how effectively they kept the particles in the mask, and I'll get back to that in my next point. Now, in the discussion section of the study, they said it was subject to 4 limitations. They only used one type of mask, it may interfere with breathing and peripheral vision, and kids and people with facial hair may have difficulty wearing the mask because of fit issues. And lastly, but certainly not least, quote, the findings of these simulations should not be interpreted as being representative of the effectiveness of these masks when worn in real-world settings, end quote. That's from the CDC. So my question is, what is the value or the benefit of this study if it should neither be generalized to the effectiveness of real-world situations? There's no benefit. The second common belief is universal masking. Now, the CDC's main evidence for universal masking is a mask mandate study that they conducted from March to November of 2020. This study is severely flawed. The CDC only analyzed changes in hospitalizations, and they did not compare infection, disease, or death rates between states with and without masking mandates. And it's interesting to note that they didn't include the entire winter season. Of course, disease and death rates are going to decrease during spring and summer. A good, reasonable study would have been comprehensive, would have covered a whole year, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And finally, they only covered limited sites within the states, not actually the entire population. Now, the third belief is that masks should be worn by healthy people. Quote, face masks should not be worn by healthy individuals to protect themselves from acquiring respiratory infection because there is no evidence to suggest that face masks worn by healthy individuals are effective in preventing people from becoming ill, end quote. That was from the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2020. Now, in my next point, we're going to see that masks actually work in reverse by taking a look at the universal negative effects of masks. The first one is bacteria and disease. Sure, masks protect others from COVID-19, but what about you? What do they do to you? Well, Russell Blaylock, MD, said in May 2020, quote, by wearing a mask, the exhaled viruses will not be able to escape and will concentrate in the nasal passages, enter the olfactory nerves, and travel into the brain, end quote. It's common sense. Wearing a mask prevents respiratory droplets from exiting and keeps them in. So the second universal negative effect of masks is oxygen levels. It's common sense that obstructions of the nose and mouth inhibit normal breathing. But it's actually much, much worse than that. Quote, a recent study involving 159 healthcare workers aged 21 to 35 years of age found that 81% developed headaches from wearing a face mask. That is, a reduction in blood oxygenation, hypoxia, or an elevation in blood carbon dioxide, hypercapnia. That's from the American Headache Society. Now, from the Journal of Immunology in 2020, quote, a drop in oxygen levels, hypoxia, is associated with an impairment in immunity. Studies have shown that hypoxia can inhibit the main type of immune cells used to fight viral infections, end quote. So, in summary, hypoxia and hypercapnia lower and weaken your immune system's ability to fight infection. Wearing a mask can actually decrease your ability to fight COVID-19. Now, the last point, some healthier common sense alternatives to fighting COVID-19. Instead of focusing on keeping COVID-19 out, shouldn't we be focused on strengthening our bodies so that we can fight COVID-19 better? Wearing a mask won't help your body fight a virus. Strengthening your immune system will. There are several easy ways to boost your immune system, but I'll give you 4. The first one is sunshine. Sunshine increases the circulation of T cells, the main immune cells that help your body fight pathogens and virus-infected cells. The second one is sleep. From Health On, quote, for people who get poor sleep, stress hormones may inhibit the ability of T cells to function as effectively. The body de-stresses while it's asleep, and your T cells are strengthened while you're asleep. The third way is eating and drinking habits. That's common sense. Healthy eating and drinking habits will strengthen your immune system to fight COVID-19. And finally, anything that causes stress weakens your immune system. This is why it's important to avoid extended isolation, because one of the main ways people are getting stressed right now is staying at home and just being alone. Anything that causes stress weakens your immune system. So avoid being alone and getting in your own thoughts. Make sure you have sufficient contact with friends and make sure you have confidants to get your problems out. Today, I debunked some common beliefs about masks and explained why they're ineffective and harmful, and presented some more effective ways to stay healthy. Now, if you agree with me, I would urge you to make a change. You have a voice and you can make your opinion known to your state and federal leaders. We can change the truth about masks right now. Remember, what is feasible is not always reasonable.